Okay. Today we will learn the chapter 8. Chapter 8 title is Histone Variant and Epigenetics. So in chapter 8 we will cover 5 subjects starting from the histone variant H2AZ, and finally we will cover histone H3 variant SAMP8. Okay, so in this slide I will explain the histone. Okay, so histone consists of the H3 histone protein, H3, H4, H2A, and H2B proteins. So previously we learned that histone octamer means that 8 protein complex at the center of the nucleosome. Okay, so this is the H3 histone protein, and this is the H4 histone protein. First of all, H3 protein and H4 protein, they bind to each other, so they will make the H3-H4 dimer. So after that, 2 dimer is bind to each other. After that, it will make the H3-H4 tetramer. How about the H2A? How about the H2A and H2B protein? So H2A, H2B protein, they bind to each other, so they will make the H2A, H2B dimer. After that, 2 H2A, H2B dimer is bind to this tetramer and bind to this tetramer. So finally, they will make the histone octamer is like this. Okay. So in this slide, we also briefly cover the chaperone. Okay, what is the chaperone? So this is the chaperone. So chaperone helps nucleosome assembly and disassembly. Okay, so in this slide, I will explain the function of the chaperone during the nucleosome assembly. Okay. So this is the chaperone. First of all, the chaperone is bind to the H3 histone protein and H4 histone protein. After that, they will help the assembly of the H3-H4 dimer. And finally, also this chaperone is also help H3-H4 tetramer making. How about this chaperone? This chaperone is help H2A, H2B dimer is making is like this. Okay, after that, this complex is transported into the nucleus. After that, another chaperone is bind to here. Okay, so this chaperone is help assembly of this nucleosome into the new site. Okay, so once again, chaperone is a protein which help the nucleosome assembly and disassembly. Okay, and several kinds of the chaperone is available. Okay, so in this slide we will cover histone variants. So in previous slide we covered H3, H4, H2A and H2B histone proteins. Okay, so in addition to these histone proteins, so there are various type of histone variants is available. So for example, histone 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, and SAMP8 and H2AZ, and there are macro H2A. Okay. So various type of histone have the unique function, and also various type of histone have a unique chaperone for their nucleosome assembly and disassembly. So in today's lecture, we will cover all of the various type of histones function, and also we will cover various type of histones chaperone's function. Okay. So in this slide, I will briefly explain the nucleosome assembly and disassembly procedure. Let me start nucleosome assembly first. Okay, first of all, H3H4 dimers assembles into H3H4 tetramer. So this is the H3H4 tetramer. After that, H3H4 tetramer is bind to the DNA. So after that, they will make the tetrasome is like this. So this is tetrasome. Okay, what is the length of the DNA length in the tetrasome? So previously we learned that the DNA length is about 147 base pairs. So 147 base pair of DNA is wraps the nucleosome. Okay, after that they will make the tetrasome. After that, two H2A, H2B dimer. So one dimer, two dimer. So one dimer, two dimer bind to the tetrasome. So finally they will make the nucleosome is like this. So this is the nucleosome assembly procedure. How about the nucleosome disassembly procedure? Okay, so this is the nucleosome, so which is composed of the H3H4 tetramer, and this is the H2A H2B dimer, and this is the H2A H2B dimer. First of all, H2A H2B dimer is lost. Okay. After that, the H3H4 tetramer is lost. So finally, the DNA is fully exposed like this. Okay. Once again, the nucleosome disassembly procedure. First of all, H2A H2B dimer is lost first. Okay. After that, H3H4 tetramer is lost. Finally, the DNA is fully exposed like this. So this is the nucleosome disassembly procedure. So in this slide, I will explain the first subject, histone H2A variant, especially H2AZ. So H2AZ is H2A variant. So this is the H2A structure, and this is the H2A variant structure, H2AZ. Okay, so for example, so this is the H2A has the histone folding domain, and they also have the docking domains. This docking domain is interact with H3H4 tetramer. Okay, and also this is the H2AZ structure. So especially this segment, okay, this segment is a segment of the considerable divergence from H2A. So this region is a little bit different from H2A, and also H2A has another special characteristics. For example, first one is that H2AZ has the 5 acetyl lysine residue. So we call it as lysine as K, especially in 4th amino acid and 7th amino acid and 11th amino acid and 13th and 15th amino acid can be acetylated. So they have contains 5 acetyl lysine residue at the N terminal. Okay, so acetylated H2AZ in the nucleosome containing H2AZ induces transcriptional activation. Okay, so how, and also on the contrary, the H2AZ also contains 3 ubiquitinatable lysine residue. Okay, so they have 3 lysine residue at C terminal, which is the lysine we call it as K. 120th amino acid is lysine, and 121st amino acid is lysine, and 125th location is also lysine. So these 3 lysine residue can be ubiquitinated. Okay, and for example, ubiquitinated H2AZ in the nucleosome containing H2AZ induces transcriptional repression. Okay. So in this slide, I will explain another characteristics of the H2AZ. Okay, so this is the promoter region, and this is a transcribed region. Okay, so this is a nucleosome. So usually the H2A is bind to here, and H2A is bind to here, and H2A is bind to here. But sometimes the H2AZ is bind to here. Okay, but however, so incorporation of the H2AZ in the promoter nucleosome, sometimes the H2AZ is incorporated into the nucleosome, which is located in the promoter region. So this incorporation enhanced RNA polymerase II recruitment in promoter region. So this incorporation enhanced RNA polymerase II recruitment in the promoter region. That increased RNA polymerase II recruitment in promoter region induces the transcriptional activation. So this is another special characteristics of the H2AZ. So in this slide, I will explain the mechanism during the incorporation of H2AZ into the nucleosome. Okay, so previously we learned that each histone variant has the unique chaperone. For example, H2AZ has the AMP32E as a chaperone. Okay, so during the incorporation of H2A into nucleosome, AMP32E functions. Also, there are another protein is involved in this step. For example, SWR1. So this is the ATP-dependent chromatin remodeler. So this is the normal nucleosome, which is composed of the H3H4 tetramer, and also one is the H2A H2B dimer. The other is also H2A H2B dimer. Okay, so SWR1 is lose the nucleosome structure. After that, eviction of H2A H2B dimer is happen. For example, this is the H2A H2B dimer. So this dimer is evicted, okay, evicted from nucleosome. So it will become the H2A H2B in the cytoplasm. Okay, after that, incorporation of the H2AZ and H2B is happen. For example, this is the H2AZ and H2B dimer in the cytoplasm. So this H2AZ and H2B is incorporated into the nucleosome. Okay, so once again, so during the incorporation of the H2AZ into the nucleosome, at that time is the two protein. One is the histone chaperone, another is a ATP-dependent chromatin remodeler. So it means that first of all, eviction of the H2A H2B dimer from the nucleosome is happen. After that, incorporation of H2AZ to Z and H2B dimer into the nucleosome is happens. Okay. So in this slide, I will explain the mechanism during the eviction of H2AZ from the nucleosome. So this is a nucleosome which containing H2AZ, H2B dimer. Okay, so during the eviction step, okay, at that time is also two protein is involved in the eviction of H2AZ from nucleosome. First one is the AMP32E. This is the histone chaperone, And also another protein is ENO80. ENO80 is ATP dependent chromatin remodeler. So it will also lose the nucleosome structure. Okay, at that, eviction of H2A-Z, H2B is happens. For example, this is the H2A-Z, H2B. So this is located in the nucleus. So first of all, the eviction of H2A-Z, H2B is happens. So this one can be evicted like this. So this one becomes the H2A-Z, H2B in the cytoplasm. Okay. After that, incorporation of H2A and H2B dimer is happen. For example, this is the H2A and H2B dimer in the cytoplasm. This one can be incorporated into the nucleus. Okay, so this is the mechanism during the eviction of H2A-Z from the nucleosome. At that time, is also two proteins involved. One is histone chaperone. The other one is also ATP-dependent chromatin remodeler, but the different proteins, ENO80. Okay, first of all, eviction of H2A-Z, H2B dimer is happens, and after that, incorporation of H2A and H2B into the new nucleosome. It's like this. Okay. So in this slide, I will explain another characteristics in H2A-Z. Okay, so this is the genome structure, which has the promoter region, and this is the transcribed region. Okay, and this is the nucleosome 1 is located here, and nucleosome 2 is located here, and nucleosome 3 is located here, something like that. And also this is the transcription factor binding region, so we call it as NFR, nucleosome free region. After that, we call it as this nucleosome as -1 nucleosome, and this one we call it as -2 nucleosome. It's like this. Okay, so H2A-Z is strongly positioned near +1 nucleosome in the budding yeast. So in the most of cases, the H2A-Z is strongly positioned near +1 nucleosome position in budding yeast. So this is the okay. So TSS means that transcriptional start site. Okay. So usually at +1 nucleosome location, so H2A-Z is the highly positioned here. Okay, and also -1 location is also H2A-Z is positioned, but especially +1 location, the H2A-Z is strongly positioned around here. But how about the +2 and +3 location? So they were also incorporated, but not frequently. However, in the mammalian, okay, mammalian case is that mammalian is H2A-Z is strongly positioned near -1 nucleosome. So this is a -1 nucleosome. So in the mammalian, including human and mouse, H2A-Z is strongly positioned near -1 nucleosome. Okay, but in most cases, the H2A-Z is strongly positioned near +1 nucleosome location. Okay. So in this slide, I will explain the second subject, histone variant H2AX. So H2AX is the H2A variant. Okay. This is the H2A protein sequence. The first line is the H2A protein sequence. Okay, and second line is the protein sequence of the H2AX. So if you see here, H2AX is longer than H2A. So H2AX is the H2A variant, and also they have some special motif at the end, so we call it as SQEORD pi motif. So we call it as SQEORD and phi motif at the C terminal. So here the first one is that always the serine. Okay, so serine has the OH here, so usually the phosphate can bind to this O. And also second one is the Q is that glutamine. So this is the glutamine structure, and we call it as glutamine as Q. And the third location, and glutamate or aspartate can be here. So we call it as glutamate as E and aspartate as D. So in third location, glutamate or aspartate can go to the here. And final motif, final position is any hydrophobic amino acid can be here. So in this case is Y is tyrosine. So tyrosine is also hydrophobic amino acid. So tyrosine can go to the here. So once again, at the final position, any hydrophobic amino acid. So the hydrophobic amino acid includes the leucine, isoleucine, and also the alanine, and also there are methionine, and there are several amino acids that belong to the hydrophobic amino acid. Okay, and also they have the, for example, yeast H2A has the serine, 129th location they have serine. So the, for example, yeast H2AX, so serine 129th location is phosphorylated. Then also in human H2AX, especially is the 139th location is serine. So in human cases here, this serine is the phosphorylated. So this is O. Okay, so usually the phosphate can bind to the here. Okay, so once again, H2AX is the H2A variant, and also H2AX has some special motif, SQED phi motif at the C terminal, and especially the human H2AX has that 139th location is serine. So especially the serine is phosphorylated. Especially this serine is phosphorylated in human H2AX. Okay, so in this slide I will explain the gamma H2AX. So gamma H2AX is a phosphorylated form of the H2AX. Okay, so this is the DNA double strand structure. So when DNA double strand break, we call it as a DNA DSB happens. So in these cases, usually another protein complex is recognized DSB, and after that it recruits DNA PK. So DNA PK means that DNA dependent protein kinase, including ATM or ATR. So in this case, the ATM is recruited in DNA DSB site. Okay, after that, DNA PK is phosphorylated H2AX. So ATM is phosphorylated H2AX, especially in the human H2AX, especially DNA PK phosphorylated 139th location. There is a serine is located in 139th location, and especially this DNA PK is phosphorylated 139th serine. It's like this. So at that it will make phosphorylated form of H2AX. So we call it as gamma H2AX. Okay, So in previous slide, we learned that after DNA DSB happens, so gamma H2AX is made. After that, non-homologous end joining or homologous recombination happens. Okay, so non-homologous end joining, we call it as the NHEJ, non-homologous end joining. So non-homologous end joining is the template independent DNA DSB repair. And also there is another, the recombination, the homologous recombination. Homologous recombination means that template dependent DNA DSB repair. Okay. For example, NHEJ is we call it as a rapid repair, and also HR, we call it as a slow repair. Because the NHEJ is a rapid repair, so there will be some small error. However, in the homologous recombination, it takes time, but this homologous recombination is highly accurate. And also, NHEJ don't need DNA template, so usually the NHEJ occurs throughout the cell cycle. However, HR needs a DNA template for homologous recombination, so usually the HR occurs during S and the G2 phase. So it means that HR is very active in S and G2 phase. Okay, so in this slide, I will explain the specific NHEJ mechanism. Okay, so when DNA damage happens, and after that, DNA DSB double-strand breaks takes place. Okay, so especially in NHEJ, Cu70 or Cu80 heterodimer is bind to the DNA DSB site. So this is the Cu70 and Cu80 heterodimer. So this heterodimer is bind to the DNA DSB site. After that, it recruits DNA PK. So DNA PK is recruited in the DNA DSB site. After that, DNA PK induces phosphorylation at H2AX, especially at 139th serine location. So finally, they will make the gamma H2AX. After that, it will recruit another enzyme. We call it as end processing enzymes. So this end processing enzyme is clean up the ends of the DNA and fills in the new nucleotide. So finally, the XRCC, we call it this XRCC4 is the DNA ligase. So finally, the XRCC4 is ligated the DNA structure. Okay, so this is the NHEJ mechanism. Okay, so once again, when DNA DSB happens, Cu heterodimer is bind to the DNA DSB site. After that, DNA PK is recruited. After that, DNA PK make the gamma H2AX, and also end processing enzyme is clean up the ends of DNA and fill in new nucleotide. Finally, XRCC4 ligated the DNA structure. Okay, so in this slide, I will explain the specific homologous recombination mechanism. Okay, first of all, DNA DSB happens. After that, MRE complex, which is composed of the MRE11 and RAD50 and MBS1, this complex is recognized DNA DSB. After that, this complex is recruit DNA PKs. So DNA PK is bind to the mRNA complex. After that, DNA PKs induces phosphorylation at H2AX, so they will make the gamma H2AX. So when they make the phosphorylation, in human case, they usually induced phosphorylation at serine 139th location. So after that, the MRE11. So MRE11 they have the endonuclease activity. Okay, so MRE11 nicks the DNA and also cut the DNA through its endonuclease activity. Okay, so after that, RPA, so we call it as RPA, replication protein A, RPA. So this RPA is called the single-stranded DNA. Okay, this RPA is the single-stranded single-stranded DNA. After that, X1 or DNA2. So X1 or DNA2, they have the exonuclease activity. So X1 or DNA2 generate single-stranded DNA is like this. Okay, it's like this. Okay. So in this slide, I will explain the second part in the HR mechanism. Okay. First of all, RAD51 binds to the single-stranded DNA. After that, this one and this one did homology search, and also especially this one did strand invasion. It's like this. Okay. So after that, DNA polymerase is bind to the here. Okay, this is the blank region and this is blank region. So DNA polymerase synthesis the DNA based on this template and based on this template. So DNA synthesis is happens. After that, the D loop formation is happens. So this is looks like the D loop. So we call it as the D loop formation. Okay. After that, this D loop is dissociated. So finally, they will make the two DNA strand like this. Okay. So this is the HR mechanism. Okay. So the homologous recombination is based on the DNA template. That's why we call it as the homologous recombination mechanism. Okay, HR is the DNA template dependent DNA repair mechanism. Okay. So in this slide, I will explain the third subject, histone variant macro H2A. So macro H2A is the H2A variant. Okay, so this is the H2A structure, and macro H2A has the H2A structure. In addition to H2A, they have the macro domains. So this is H2A domain. They also have a macro domain. So macro domain has enzyme activities that regulate the ADP ribosylation of the chromatins. So macro domain can do the ADP ribosylation. For example, this is the target protein. Okay, except that in the target protein, so ADP, so this is the ADP, they have 2-phosphate, so ADP ribosylation. So at target protein, macro domain can do the ADP ribosylation. Okay, and also H2A is that participates in X chromosome inactivation. In previous lecture, we learned that macro H2A incorporates in the nucleosome of inactive X chromosome. So macro H2A is involved in the incorporated in the nucleosome of inactive X chromosome. So macro H2A is participated in X chromosome inactivation. And also H2A, macro H2A is present in active gene in the autosome. Okay, so especially in autosome, sometimes there is the inactive gene is available. So usually in this location, H2A is present in the inactive gene in the autosome location. So in this slide, I will explain the mechanism during the eviction of macro H2A from nucleosome. In previous slide, we learned that each histone has a unique chaperone. However, macro H2A, the unique chaperone is not identified yet. Maybe there will be some unknown chaperone plays important role in the macro H2A eviction or the macro H2A incorporation. We don't know yet. Okay, so usually during the eviction of macro H2A from nucleosome, so this is one chaperone, we don't know yet, but maybe another proteins, we call it as ATRX. So ATRX is the ATP dependent helicase. So this is the because this is helicase, so it lose the DNA structure. Okay, so ATRX is evict macro H2A and H2B. So this is the macro H2A, H2B. So evict this macro H2A and macro H2A and H2B, and after that, so this macro H2A, H2B is go to the cytoplasm. After that, new H2A, H2B can be incorporated like this. Okay, so this is the mechanism during eviction of macro H2A from nucleosome. But maybe some chaperone plays important role in this step, but we don't know yet. But until now on, we know that ATRX, so this is the ATP dependent helicase, evict the macro H2A, H2B from the nucleosome. This is what we know until now on. Okay. So in this slide, I will explain the fourth subject, histone H3 variant, H3.1 and H3.3. Okay, let me explain the histone H3 first. So in Verdin East, there is only one form exists. We call it as histone H3. So usually the inverting East, histone H3 is found in the nucleosome, which is located in the euchromatin region. And also more advanced form is fission yeast. In fission yeast is also only one subtype is existed, histone H3. But in the fission yeast, histone H3 is found in the nucleosome, which is located in the euchromatin region or in the heterochromatin region. How about the human and mouse? So in human and mouse, there are three types of the histone H3 is available, starting from histone 3.1 and H3.2 and the H3.3. Okay, so H3.3 usually found in the nucleosome, which is located in the euchromatin region, and the H3.2 and the H3.1 is found in the nucleosome, which is located in the heterochromatin region. Okay, let me start. H3.3. So H3.3 is the H3 variant. Okay, so this is H3.3, the structure of the H3.3, sequence of the H3.3. Okay, H3.3 differs only 5 amino acids compared to the H3.1. So this is the amino acid sequence of the H3.1. So only 5 amino acid, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 amino acid is different from the H3.1. And usually the H3.3 is, this is H3.3 with H4 dimer. So this H3.3 is assembled at the site where transcription is activated. So usually the H3.3 is assembled in the active promoter region or in the transcribed gene bodies. And also H3.3 is also found in the heterochromatin region, especially in the centromere region and also telomere region. Okay, so in this slide, I will explain the mechanism during the incorporation of the H3.3 into nucleosome, which is located in the euchromatin region. So we call it as this mechanism as the replication, the DNA replication independent chromatin assembly. Okay, so in this procedure, first procedure, 2 histone chaperone is involved in this step. Okay, for example, this is the histone variant, especially this one is histone 3.3, and histone 3.3 has a unique chaperone. For example, in this step, ASF1B and also HIRA, these 2 histone chaperone is involved in this step. So first of all, ASF1B is bind to the H3.3 and H4 dimer. After that, HIRA is helped the incorporation of the H3.3 with the H4 into the nucleosome, especially in the euchromatin region during the transcription. Okay, once again, so this slide explains the mechanism during incorporation of the H3.3 into nucleosome in the euchromatin region, especially during the transcription. Okay, so during transcription, okay, ASF1B and the HIRA, both of them is function as histone chaperone. So first of all, ASF1B bind to the H3.3 and H4 dimer, and after that, HIRA is also help the incorporation of H3.3 and H4 dimer into the nucleosome, especially in the euchromatin region, so during the transcription. So that's why we call it as a replication independent chromatin assembly. So in this slide, I will explain the mechanism during incorporation of H3.3 into nucleosome, which is located in the heterochromatin region. Okay, so this one is, we also call it as replication independent chromatin assembly. Okay, there are 2 protein function plays very important role in this mechanism. First one is, we call it as ATRX. This is we already learned that this is the ATP dependent helicase, and also DAX, DAXX. So we call it as the histone chaperone. So especially the histone 3.3 has another unique chaperone. We call it as a DAX. Okay. So first of all, during this mechanism, ATRX and also especially DAX. So DAX is function as the histone chaperone. So it bind to the H3.3 and H4 dimer, and after that, ATRX and DAX is incorporates H3.3 H4 dimer into the nucleosome, especially in the telomere and the centromere region. So this is the another replication independent chromatin assembly. During this step, H3.3 is incorporated into the nucleosome, which is located in the heterochromatin region. So in this slide, I will explain the mechanism during incorporation of H3.1, not H3.3. H3.1 into the nucleosome. So we call it as this mechanism as DNA replication dependent chromatin assembly. Okay, so this is the histone H3.1. H3.1 has a unique chaperone. We call it as the CAF1 and the ASF1. Okay, so during this incorporation of H3.1 into the nucleosome, two chaperone is involved. First one is the ASF1 or ASF1B, and also another chaperone is CAF1. The full name of CAF1 is chromatin assembly factor 1. This one is also histone chaperone. So first of all is ASF1B is bind to the H3.1 and H4 dimer. After that, CAF1, so this is the chromatin assembly factor 1 is help the assembly of the incorporation of H3.1 H4 dimer into the nucleosome, especially during DNA replication. So this is the DNA replication procedure. Okay, so during DNA replication, ASF1B and the CAF1 is help the incorporation of H3.1 H4 dimer into the nucleosome, especially during DNA replication. So in this slide, I will explain the fifth subject, histone H3 variant SAMP-A. So SAMP-A is the full name is the centromere protein A. So this is the histone H3 variant. In chapter 3, we briefly learned about centromere. Okay, at that time we learned that nucleosome containing SAMP-A is found in the centromere region. Okay, so actually this is the centromere structure, so which is composed of a central domain and also is composed of the out repeat is like this. So usually the nucleosome containing CEMPA is located here, the central domain region. Okay, so this is the nucleosome containing CEMPA. SAMP-A is located here and here and here and here. Okay, so usually the SAMP-A is replaced one or both copies of histone H3. So this is the regular nucleosome, which is composed of the two H3 histone. Okay, the SAMP-A is replaced is one, so one of histone H3 or both copies of histone H3 is like this. Okay. So in this slide, I will explain the incorporation of SAMP-A into the nucleosome, especially in the fusion yeast. Okay, let me start from the S phase. Okay, so during the S phase, DNA is replicated. Okay, during that time, this is the nucleosome containing all the SAMP-A. So nucleosome containing all the SAMP-A is segregated to sister chromatids like this. So this is the S phase. Okay, during G2 phase, okay, after that during the G2 phase, two histone chaperone is function. First of all, SIM3. So this is SIM3 histone chaperone. So SIM3 is bind to new SAMP A. Okay, SIM3 is bind to new SAMP A. After that, it delivers the new SAMP A. Okay, after that, SCM3. So this is SCM3, another chaperone. So the SCM3 is capture new SAMP A protein is like this. Okay, after that, new SAMP A assemblies happens. So after that, new SAMP A assemblies happen, and new SAMP A assemblies happen is like this. Okay, so usually the in fusion yeast, new SAMP A assemblies happen during G2 phase. Okay, after that, during the M phase. Okay, so this is the M phase. During the M phase is the SCM and M13 or MIS13 or MIS18 is dissociated from the centromere region. Okay, and after that, during the G1 phase, reassociation of SCM3 and reassociation of MIS16 or MIS18 is happen. Okay, so in this slide, we covered incorporation of SAMP A into the nucleosome, especially in the fusion yeast. Okay, so usually the very important step, new SAMP A assembly is happen during the G2 phase. Okay, so in this slide, I will explain the incorporation of SAMP A into the nucleosome, especially in human. Okay, let me start from the S phase. So during the S phase, DNA is replicated. Okay, so this is the nucleosome. This is a nucleosome containing the old SAMP A. So nucleosome containing old SAMP A is segregated into sister chromatid. So like this. Okay, after that, during the G2 phase, HJURP is the histone chaperone. Okay, HJURP is capture. So this one is captures new SAMP A proteins. So this one is captures new SAMP A proteins. Okay, after that, during the M phase is the recruitment of the HMIS, human MIS 18 is happens. Okay, after that, during the G1 phase, is recruitment of the HJURP with new SAMP A is happens. So recruitment of the HJURP with SAMP A is happen is like this. Okay, so this one is recruited like this. Okay, after that, recruitment of the RSF1, the RSF protein is happens. After that, new SAMP A assemblies happen. Okay, first of all, during the G1 page, first of all, the recruitment of the HJURP with new SAMP A is happens. Next, recruitment of RSF protein is happen. So finally, new SAMP A assemblies happen is like this. New SAMP A assemblies happen is like this. Okay, after that, during the G1 phase, Final step, dissociation of HJURP and RSF and MIS18 is happened. The important thing is the incorporation of sample A into nucleosome. New sample A assemblies happen during the G1 page. Okay, so in this slide, I will explain the new sample A assembly site in Fusion East and human. Okay, so in Fusion East, we learned that new sample A assembly is happen in G2 phase. However, in the human, new sample A assembly is happen in G1 phase. Okay, also in the Fusion East, at that time, I did not cover the new sample A assembly site, but in this slide, I will cover new sample A assembly site. Okay, let me start from the Fusion East. So in Fusion East, so this is the MIS6 protein. So this is the MIS6 protein is located here. So actually the MIS6 protein is the new sample A assembly site in Fusion East. Okay, so this is the sample this is the MIS6 protein. Okay, so actually at this site, new sample A assemblies happen at this site. Okay, once again, in Fusion East, MIS6 is the new sample A assembly site. Okay, so how about in human? In human is that this is the CCAN protein. So CCAN protein is located here and here, and this site is the, you can see here, this site is the new sample A assembly site. Okay, once again, so this in human, CCAN is that new sample A assembly site in human. Okay, but also in Fusion East, once again, new sample A assemblies happen in G2 page. In human, new sample A assemblies happen in G1 page. And also, MIS6 is the new sample A assembly site in Fusion East. And also, CCAN is the new sample A assembly site in human. Okay, so in this slide, I will explain the distribution of the nucleosome containing sample A in the centromere region. Okay, so this is the centromere region. Okay, so usually the centromere contains around 200 nucleosomes. Okay, so among the 200 nucleosomes, only 30 nucleosomes contains sample A. So this is the nucleosome containing sample A. So only 30 nucleosome contains the sample A like this. However, we found that, so this is the nucleosome containing sample A. Okay, and this is the kinetochore. So we found that nucleosome containing sample A, so this is a nucleosome containing sample A is the directionally distributed. It's not equally distributed, just directionally distributed toward the kinetochore. This is a kinetochore, toward kinetochore binding site. Okay, once again, let me summarize it again. So the centromere contains 200 nucleosomes. However, among the 200 nucleosomes, only 30 nucleosomes contains the sample A. However, we found that nucleosome containing sample A is the directionally distributed toward the kinetochore binding site. It's like this. Okay, so today we learned chapter A, Chapter 8 title was Histone Variant and Epigenetics. First of all, we cover H2AZ and also we cover H2AX and macro H2A. And also we cover histone H3 variant, especially focused on H3.1 and H3.3. Finally, we cover SAMP A. Okay, today we will finish class.